and welcome to another episode. I'm John from John McTaggart Photography, and thanks for checking in with the channel and paying attention to this video and checking it out. Today's video is going to be a little bit more camera review type thing or gear oriented, so let's get underway. As I mentioned in the past videos, I switched back to Fujifilm not that long ago, literally, probably a week or two, maybe, ago. I talked about the reasons why in the video prior that was out a couple days ago now, or 3 days ago now. You can check that out if you want. But when I did that, I had a budget, obviously, to work within, and I had to go and essentially buy everything from scratch, meaning I had nothing that was Fujifilm in my arsenal here. So the first thing I wanted to address was get a lens lineup, which I did that. Didn't get everything I wanted, but I've got at least what I feel to be a decent start for what I do or what I will do with the cameras or with the equipment. And then I looked at bodies. I have a friend who has an X-Pro 3, and I tinkered with that for a while. Maybe about a week or so, I shot, I don't know, maybe 100 or 200 pictures with it. So not a terrible amount, but enough to get a good feel for it. Now, I am a huge fan of the rangefinder style bodies. I loved my Leica film camera that had an M6 and an M5 at one point in time. And even I think I had an M4. Yeah, I did an M4 II also. And I've had a couple of X-Pro 1s. I had an X-Pro 2 back in the day. I love that style of camera, and I like the stealthiness of it all and the feel, and it's just, they're kind of magical. My X-Pro 1 is still my favorite camera of all time, even though it's slow, clunky, and extremely antiquated at this point. There's something about it that's kind of a little bit magical. So needless to say, I went through this process of trying to pick out a Fujifilm body. Now, I did not consider, quite honestly, any of the X-T20s, X-T30s, and I obviously didn't try the new X10 or XS10 or whatever it is, X10X or whatever. That wasn't on the radar either. It basically boiled down to me between an X-Pro 3 body, an X-T3 body, or an X-T4. And I watched a lot of YouTube videos, a lot of reviews, read a lot of reviews from people that I think are pretty credible and pretty reputable. Kevin Mullins, Big Head Taco, Take KO is I'm a huge fan of his. Matt Day, other people like that. Kind of, I'm even a fan of Ken Rockwell a little bit, so I read his reviews on these things. And I even thought about renting an X-T4 and or an X-T3 at one point in time to see, but it just didn't work out that way. And quite honestly, it's kind of an expensive endeavor just to tinker, when I think you probably can't go wrong with any of them. So I decided and settled on the X-T3. And it's a 2-year-old body, I know that, and it's probably not new to a lot of you. Many of you might even have it in your camera bag right now. But the main reason I settled on that was it seemed to be a great value. Unbeknownst to me, Fujifilm was planning on having a holiday sale, and every once in a while it's better to be lucky than good, and I kind of got lucky in the sense where they knocked $500 off the price of the body to buy it new. Now, I very rarely buy cameras new, or lenses for that matter. The markup, the difference between the used price of a body or lens that's in really good or excellent condition or better, and buying something brand new can be a lot sometimes. So I just don't buy a lot of new camera equipment. But this time the deal was so good, and I couldn't really pass it up. I mean, it just seemed like the right thing to do. It was $500 cheaper minimum than an X-Pro 3, although I do love that camera. I really do. I think if I could pick any camera in Fuji's lineup, I most likely would select that one. I considered an X-T4, even if it was a little bit more, but I don't know if it really gave me a whole lot more for stills than what I'd be getting with an X-T3. So I passed on that. Now, I do need a second body coming up here, and in the past I have just basically gotten whatever I could afford. That's Fujifilm, but I'm actually thinking of saving a little bit and getting an X Pro 3. So I have basically both styles of cameras and the latest model of the rangefinder style and a pretty good model in the X-T3. So this is anyway what I decided on, and I've been shooting with it for about a week, and I am super happy with my decision. And if any of you are on the fence about it, and a $999 for a brand new body with the warranties, the whole 9 yards, if you can afford it, I couldn't recommend it any higher. It's a great camera. It's fun. It's easy to use. The menu system is pretty self-explanatory. You can set it up any way that you want. The top dials, I love it. The top dials make everything pretty easy to tweak and adjust as you go along. It's all right there at your fingertips. There's no searching through menus or sifting through all that kind of stuff. The image quality is amazing. I have actually shot, with my Fujifilm stuff, I shoot a lot of JPEGs. Now, my other bodies, the Nikon and all that, never would I shoot a JPEG. Everything was always RAW. But Fujifilm, I love their JPEGs, the look of their JPEGs so much that I shoot it a lot. But I'm recently sort of converted to Capture One. And mainly it's because I'm going to shoot Fuji now, and I've heard that their rendering of RAW files from Fuji is fantastic. So, and it is. So I've been shooting some RAW, which is a little bit different for me, but I do like the output from that. And when you combine that with Capture One, it's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with the image quality and what's coming out of it. The cameras are small enough and stealthy enough where you can kind of sneak around a little bit if you wanted to, which is always a kind of a cool element for if you're an event photographer or wedding photographer. Capturing those candid moments is always a plus, and sort of what you're going after, at least what I'm going after most of the time. It's good for editorial work, newspaper stuff, things like that. It's been fantastic. Full weather ceiling. I love the articulating screen, although in the past I have not been a huge fan of these things, but I do like this one. I don't know why. It's probably just a little bit of fanboydom, I guess. But it's a great camera. This is not, like I said, I'm not into these real technical, heavy, heavy on the specs reviews. I think it's a 26 megapixel camera, which is way more than what I would ever need or ever use. So that, it fits that bill just perfectly. It's got dual card slots, which is actually one of the few tech specs that are really important to me. This 4th generation or X processor 4 is fantastic. The look is beautiful. You will not go wrong getting one of these. I could not recommend it any higher. The autofocus, actually coming from an X Pro 2, which was my last Fuji body, to this now, the autofocus performance is crazy better, like night and day. And even with the new firmwares, which Fuji is fantastic at updating firmware, so it's even going to be snappier and a little bit easier even easier beyond that. The only real complaint I have with the X-T3 here is I still am not a huge fan of the price of the battery grips. It sounds like a crazy thing, but I like using battery grips on these cameras, on these XT line of cameras. I've had them with my XT1s and XT2s. They just fit my hand better. I bought the hand grip, Fuji's brand hand grip. I got it used at usephotopro.com, and I don't know, $50, $60, so it's pretty reasonable. But I do need, as you can see, when I hold it, my hand is just a little, it just isn't right, and I can squeeze it together, I guess, and be fine. But they're way more comfortable for me, and I enjoy them. But they're over $300 to buy new, and even finding one used is kind of tough. Now, I know there's probably a lot of technology in it, but if I'm only paying $1,000 for the camera body brand new, paying 30% of that for the grip to have an extra 2 batteries, I don't know. I don't know. I'm sure that there's a way to justify it, but it's one of the things that kind of bug me about the whole process here. And it's not just Fuji, it's all of them, Nikon, all the battery grips seem to be a lot. But they're what they are. I have noticed that the battery life is pretty good. I think I got almost 450 shots out of one battery that came with the camera. And that's without a lot of chimping. I'm not a big chimper, and I don't have the camera set up to play back the images without me kind of requesting it. So, you know, 10 minutes, we're over 10 minutes here, so it's getting a little long. Bottom line is, I'm a proud X-T3 owner, and I can't recommend the camera any higher than I do. So far, it's been fantastic, and I'm not expecting it to be anything but that moving forward. So thank you so much for tuning in once again, everyone. If you like what you see, please hit the like button and subscribe. If you have any ideas of what you'd like to see moving forward here, this channel is as much about you as it is about me or photography or anything else. So please leave it in the comment section. Any feedback is always appreciated. And I will see you guys next time. Stay safe.